Hello and welcome to Coffee with Dr. Carla. I'm Dr. Carla, this is Tyler, and we are glad that you're here with us today, and hopefully we can start to end some stigma around some of the mental health issues we're going to talk about. And so this is a big one. Technology is great in many, many different ways, but it also can create some obstacles in people's lives if they don't have other ways of being connected to community outside of the, whatever the electronic way of doing that. Maybe it's a chat room or, gaming online or whatever. What have you been seeing in this regards?
Yeah, I feel like it's almost been like an ongoing trend I feel like for a while. I feel like now we're starting to really see it after COVID, but
right.
I feel there's a lot more actual in-person interactions now. I feel like you kind of see, I feel like I see this all the time of people are anxious to make a phone call to someone, even if they care about them, not even just a call them a business or stuff like that. I feel like you see a lot more of that. I feel like I hear people in schools of I remember growing up here oh yeah, one of the biggest fears of people was giving speeches, and still one of the biggest things, and now people are we're not even giving speeches in school and stuff like that. And I think with technology, we've had a big shift where it's so easy to send a text message, so people aren't interacting. Even how we're shaped. I feel like before you hear a lot more people living together with their whole family. You have grandparents, parents, grandkids.
That's
the whole
my
thing.
Living situation. We're multi-generational. Yeah,
and I feel a lot more that used to be such a common thing. And I know the saying it takes a village. So many people now are more isolated, withdrawn. They're talking through, like you said, text or just on the computer, and they don't have that interaction. And we are social creatures, so we're not getting that benefit, and people are feeling a lot more isolated and withdrawn. So I think it's a big deal.
So other than isolation and kind of withdrawing, what are some of the other pitfalls of not getting connected?
Yeah, I feel definitely increasing anxiety and depression. I feel that's a huge thing because we need that interaction. I feel it feels good. I feel everyone's had where they're just randomly somewhere in public and someone talks to them and they have a good 5-minute conversation. You have that long-lasting impact. Man, this felt really nice. You just have this good quality conversation, and now we're not getting that, and it's limiting our social skills, our abilities, and increasing the anxiety and depression type stuff so much more. So I think that is such a big deal where social relationships really are such a protective factor for us in so many things in life, and help us deal with stress and those hard times. It helps us just build our resiliency up. So
yeah, I'm just thinking that there's been times that I've shared text back and forth with friends, and we're sharing something funny, and of course we laugh, but I'm laughing at home by myself and they're laughing at home by themselves,
yeah.
Right? I think that if we had that same conversation in person, it would be more than a chuckle. I think we would have played it up more, laughed more. It's hard to express, I guess the depth of humor or the kind of those quirky little things that happen, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't translate well via text. I sent a text to my grandson's great grandma's grandma, and we got a new couch, and I did not share with them that it had recliners on it, right?
Yeah.
But they found them. They figured it out all on their own because they're super smart kids, and which is great. But so I took a picture with the recliner up, and I said, "Oh, look who figured out how to make the couch work." And she missed the joke completely. And not to be, she wasn't trying not to. She's like, "I don't get it. What's so funny?" And I'm like,
Gets lost
the
in
recliner,
translation.
she's like, "Oh, I get that," right? But that's because we were doing it via text.
Mm-hmm.
Had I called her and I said something, then she would have been cracking up, and she would have totally gotten it. That kind of humor is right up her alley.
Yeah.
So you're right. Text or emails. Most people are not emailing each other.
No, yeah.
Texting each other. Things get lost. Nuances get lost, which is really sad.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, what are some tips that maybe you would have for folks who find themselves being primarily in a virtual relationship with people, not really having those connections.
Yeah, I feel like try to mitigate or kind of pick your battles. I feel like sometimes it is hard. I feel like you got to almost kind of build up to it. I think it isn't just like some people can probably fully dive in and just like, oh yeah, I'm going all away from technology and dive in. But I think that's a little bit hard. I feel like some people work from home or different technology realms that they're working in. But that can be, even like, hey, like I'm going to stop texting as much. I'm going to start doing more phone calls, kind of just like interacting in that way, or, putting more effort into getting together. I feel like I used to hear even like that so much more of like people like, hey, like I have, lunch with my friends like once a week, or like brunch, or like, hey, we're doing game night. I feel like I used to hear that a lot more from people, and I feel like that's starting even like to slow down. So I feel like even like those interactions doesn't need to be once a week or anything like that. But hey, how do I start putting effort into creating more of those opportunities to get together and be with people, or like I said, just even small step of making more phone calls than text.
I hear intentionality throughout everything you're talking about.
It's such a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, after we shut down, I lost touch with a good friend of mine, and I finally reached out to her and I said, we need to have lunch. Let's get together on this day.
Yep.
We went, and I came with my calendar. She's like, what's that? I said, for our next lunch. And she's like, what? I'm like, every month we are getting together because I don't want to lose track of you again. Right? And vice versa, right? Like, it was nothing other than we got busy.
Yeah.
But now, now it's understanding that, the fourth Thursday of every month we do lunch together and we pick a different place and we really enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been noticing that our time together is getting longer and longer and longer. I don't know if the wait staff appreciates how much we like talking to each other, but, it's important to us. And when we have to miss it, every once in a blue moon it happens. We both talk about how much we notice, that void. But it's hard to be intentional about it.
Yep.
For the extroverts out there, I'm sure that this idea of just getting out there and trying it seems so much easier. For us introverts, it's a little bit more daunting. But I know as an introvert, if I have some control over it, that I feel less intimidated by it. So this is your opportunity to kind of seize the reins and try some of these things yourself and see what happens,
Yep. Yeah, and I feel like, especially for a lot of people, like I always say, like, especially if you feel like it's hard in a battle, like, try to make it as simple as possible. Like you said, try to, like, focus on those things you can control. Maybe that's doing it with, like, kind of tying that in with something you do enjoy. Maybe it's like, hey, I really enjoy playing this video game. Well, hey, maybe we get together at someone's house to play it together.
Physically in the same house.
Be it separate. Or, it's like, hey, how do I kind of combine a couple factors to make it a lot easier to get up and get motivated to do that, because it can be really challenging, obviously, the scheduling of it at all with just life and everything. But
well, you mentioned to me a number of times how much you enjoy taking your dog out for walks and stuff like that, and I was just thinking, even something as simple as going out on a walk with your dog, you end up running into people, and you have little conversations with them. Now, if you want to have lots and lots of conversations about your dog, take them for a walk around Lake Catherine, or down, some sort of path in the forest preserves, because then people are going to stop and talk to you about your dog nonstop. So that would be a way to have some real casual conversations with people, to get out there, also take care of yourself, and maybe not something that's so maybe potentially threatening, because it's all superficial talk anyhow.
Yeah, exactly.
And besides, the dogs are cute. Like, how can you go wrong with that,
Yeah, exactly. Even like talking to like a cashier when you're checking out somewhere, like even if it's 3 sentences or whatever, it's simple, but still giving us a little bit of that interaction. So,
most definitely. So hopefully people can start getting out of their comfort zones. And I know it's hard with when we start changing clock times and weather, and if it's too hot or too cold or whatever, but give it a try. See what happens. Just a little bit. So remember, you can change your thoughts, discover your potential, and transform your life by focusing on your overall well-being. So until next time, continue working on being the best you possible. Bye.